Felicitous greetings, fellow fanatics.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Hideth Fanatic, and today we're taking a look at Old Testament Fantasy Draft, a biblically themed card drafting game by Funhill Games. Please keep in mind that this is a prototype of a game that is coming to Kickstarter. As such, nothing is yet finalized, and anything seen herein is subject to change. In OT Fantasy Draft, 2 to 5 players will be competing to draft the best team with the cards that they've been dealt. Setup is very simple. Shuffle the deck and deal 2 cards to each player, then place the top 5 cards of the deck face up so everybody can see them. This forms your first draft line. Each player picks one of the 2 cards that they were dealt and discards the other one. All discards are face up so anyone can see what's already come out. After that, choose a player to go first and you're ready to start. To play around, the first player starts by selecting 1 card in the draft line and starting their drafted team with it. They'll draw a card to replace it in the draft line, and then the next player in clockwise order will pick a card of their own. This will repeat until every player has drafted 1 card, at which point the remaining 4 cards are discarded. After that, reveal another 5 cards to create a new draft line. The player that picked last in the previous round gets the first draft this time around. You'll repeat this process until each player has drafted 7 cards, then add in the card they chose at the beginning of the game. At this point, players will total up their points. But before you do that, it's important to look at a few of the cards and see what they can do. As with many card games, the main meat comes not from the rulebook, but from the different cards and how they interact with one another. Every card has a starting point value listed in the top left corner, and a name in the top right. Just below its name, you can see its category. You have locations with yellow borders and things with green borders. For humans, you have prophets with blue borders, leaders with purple, and you'll see that a handful of cards are both with a mixture of both blue and purple. Finally, for any people that are neither leaders nor prophets, then they'll be regulars with red borders. But what really makes the game shine are the rules that each card has. Sometimes these are just keywords which may be called upon by other cards. For example, things can be animals, food, or even both. People can be men or women. Each card has its own unique rules that really bring the theme to life. For example, David destroys both Goliath and Lion and gains 15 points for each that he does so with. He also doubles the value of music if you manage to draft that as well. When destroying a card, keep 3 things in mind. Firstly, you only destroy cards in your own drafted team unless a card specifies otherwise. Secondly, you must destroy a card if you are able to. And finally, once destroyed, the card is effectively removed from the game. Its rules do not apply, you don't count it towards your points, nor towards the cards in your draft line. Another common ability is Protect. Protect prevents the card in question from being destroyed. For example, Wall protects one other location of your choice from being destroyed. However, if the protecting card is destroyed, then it no longer provides that protection, and that card may also be destroyed as a result. As each card in the game is unique, I don't have time to go over every single one. I would, however, like to briefly showcase a few of my favorites. Firstly, we have Adam and Eve, whose abilities are identical, aside from the obvious point of one being a man and the other a woman. They gain 10 points for every pair of cards you gather with matching starting point values, but lose 10 points for every fruit you have. So if you have both of them on a team, that's a pair already, as their starting point values are worth 1 point each. My sister holds the high score for the games I've played thus far thanks to comboing these 2 together. Next up, we have another husband and wife pair, Ruth and Boaz. Ruth gives you 6 points for grain, but what really makes her stand out is that you can take one of the 4 leftover cards at the end of a draft round, giving you a 9th card when all is said and done. Boaz is admittedly a little useless on his own, but he gains bonus points if you have Grain or Ruth on your team. Furthermore, when you have them both, Boaz allows Ruth to use her ability a second time in the game, bringing your total cards up to 10. Speaking of 10s, next up is Moses. Moses is a little complicated, but he gains points for every unique number of starting points 1 through 10 in your drafted team. With my favorites here so far, you see 1, 3, and 4. We don't count the repeated ones, so we'd have a total of 3 for 12 bonus points. And to round off my dream team, we have none other than Dream. Dream isn't worth any points on its own, but it can copy the name and category of any other card in the game. This allows you to double up on points that are dependent on specific named cards, or simply count it as one that you're missing from your lineup. After players have drafted their cards and total up their points, whomever has the highest score wins. As this is a prototype copy, I can't comment on component quality at this time, though I will say that the artwork is fairly strong. It has a comic book-like aesthetic which has plenty of character and makes for some dynamic images. If you're familiar with Funhill's earlier works, Kings of Israel or Wisdom of Solomon, you'll definitely recognize the art style. All in all, OT Fantasy Draft is a fast-paced game. It goes on just a little longer than what I consider to be filler territory, but it's still short enough that you can get multiple games in pretty easily. It captures the Bible theme surprisingly well, with each card having unique rules to represent who and what they are. It probably wouldn't work as well as a teaching tool as Funhill's other games, but it's definitely one that I'll be bringing back to game nights when things are warming up or cooling down for the night. As this is a prototype copy, I'll not be giving Old Testament Fantasy Draft a formal review score at this time. What I will say is that it's a great, lightweight title for casual and hobbyist gamers alike. It's not even out yet, and I'm already hoping that we get a New Testament Fantasy Draft as a standalone expansion. OT Fantasy Draft is coming soon to Kickstarter. At the time of writing this preview, I don't yet know the date, but I will include it in the description as soon as possible. If you're interested in backing or learning more, links are in the description. What about you? What do you think of OT Fantasy Draft? What Bible-themed games do you enjoy? If you have any questions, remarks, or opposing points of view, leave them in the comments down below. And please remember to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. And if you really enjoy my work, please consider funding my channel on Patreon. Until next time, farewell, fellow fanatics. Thank you again for watching. I have plenty more to share with you if you're interested. You can click up here above my head to subscribe to my channel. You can click over here on my monitor to see the most recent video that I've worked on. Or if you prefer, you can click up here to open this mysterious vault and see what video that the YouTube algorithm has picked just for you.